You also work with. So I just wanted to talk about kind of like what you do, and you're in the yoga studio, but you have been trained and you work with people one on one. Can you tell me a little bit about your one on one practice and what you're doing when you're working with folks?
Yeah. So as you know, I'm a trained yoga teacher. I have knowledge of fascial anatomy and myofascial hydration and release, and I was trained as a stretch therapist. Um, and so all of these things together have allowed me to tailor just specific things like being able to assess what might be going on with somebody and then possibly offering some form of help for that. I know I've worked with you before for a lot of myofascial release and hydration, um, which, as you said, was beneficial. Uh,
Big time.
and I do that to my. I'm much less kind to my boyfriend, because when we first started dating, he was a gym rat, and so I could see a lot of the calcification just from focusing very specifically on the muscular system and not really on a lot of the other parts of the system. And so like we'll do stuff where he's just like wincing, and I'm like, stop being a baby, and it's a joke, but it's interesting, but yeah, again, like I work with a lot of older or more experienced members of society, I prefer to say.
I was going to say there's a lot of buildup in older folks that haven't been addressed.
I'm working with a gentleman, he's about 76, 77, and he has Parkinson's. And Parkinson's, you could have the best practice in the world, and Parkinson's will disrupt your nervous system anyway. So, he deals a lot with depression and anxiety. And when we first started to work together, and it's been a few months now, it's just so cool to see his advancement in what I consider to be a small amount of time. And he's breathing better. He feels good. His anxiety and depression have lessened. Uh, my thing is focusing really heavily on internal stabilizers and strengthening those. So your rhomboids and then deeper internal stabilizers in your hips, usually related to some aspect of balance. That strength, as it was told to me by one of my mentors, that strength that will never leave you. Um, when I did Ashtanga, that's 100 vinyasas the whole time. And if I didn't keep up with it, if I took a week or two off, I'd be feeling it when I didn't do it. And that strength left me because it was a superficial strength versus when I focused more heavily on these internal stabilizers through very basic exercises. Again, like that strength that does not leave you. Um, and so in his case, just again focusing on restoring some level of hydration to his body because he's an older gentleman, he's more experienced, and so there's just a significant level of tightness inside of his shoulders, inside of his hips. Just things when you work with different bodies, you see very common things. A lot of it's going to be focused on the shoulders and hips, but people also have differences in their spines and just all over the place. It's different for everybody. But even when we get together, we work together for about an hour, and it's just breath work, very, very, very basic movements depending on what he has the energy for, fascial body strengthening. Um, and all of it, like, just again to see his level of advancement where he went from I would have to double up pillows next to his arms when we're like laying on our backs, and we do this thing of just like widening the arms because even just something as simple as that can be beneficial to the front fascia. But to see how stiff he was and how his arms would just kind of hang in the air before without the padding, and even with the padding, to now he's down to the one pillow and his arms can just rest comfortably on it, and he's continuing to progress. So I'm always like giving him so much praise because he's doing the work. Like I'm just some jackass talking, and offering a little bit of correction, but he's the one that's implementing the breathing. He's the one that's continuing to be flexible in what we do during our time together. And so I just tell him like, wait until where you are in a year from now or 2 years or whatever. And it's beautiful. He's just, yeah, it's to see him so energetic when we meet up and to be in this mental space of positivity and harmony. I think that's a deeper level about some aspects of reality where obviously everything is one and everything's connected, and it's humans that create duality, but there is no duality. But instead of good or evil, cosmic scale to an extent from our limited three-dimensional perspective is harmony and discord. And that is just the foundation of some aspect of the universe. And so we find ourselves in discord a lot. And when you can implement a more regulatory practice, such as a regular form of breath work or intentional breath work, that will increase the type of harmony that you're not only able to experience, but also express. And again, it goes into that sense of community and how we're able to share these experiences. And we're all like, we're chords and we're instruments inside of this cosmic symphony.